All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Arena Cup. This is day 2 here, kicking things off with another team match. Team Duffin versus Team Senna. All right, welcome back to day 2 here at the Arena Cup. We're going to kick things off with a doubles match. Doubles, full team match. Team versus team, Duffin versus Senna. They're going to have to go in turn order right here. J. Evan Scott Frank Dawson versus Rich Frank Mark Steve. Yesterday the team match was pretty close, but it ended up going to Team Duffin. They had a good comeback. Let's see if today could be any different. Senna's team looking to take a quick win to start the day. The overall score so far is 5-3 in favor of Team Duffin. All right, I know some of these guys had some good conversations last night. They had some team meetings. I do like the format of a team battle here. This definitely makes for an interesting match. It really puts a lot of pressure on the few times you do get to shoot, especially with guys like this. You don't shoot that often per rack, more often than not. But that kind of pressure, some people thrive. Some people fold like origami. We're going to find out who does what today. Alright, people getting their last couple shots in here before we start. Just about every table in the building has somebody over here practicing. It's going to be a good day. Hopefully we have quite a few matches in store for you. In theory, we could only have 2 matches today, but we do have 5 scheduled to go. Got a 5-on-5, then the only doubles of the night, followed by 3 different singles matches that could decide. I don't know if I'd really say either team is a favorite to win or any kind has either kind of advantage. I think it's anybody's game at any time in a race to 5 for 9 ball, especially with the caliber of players that are here today. Luckily, it doesn't fall on one person's shoulders here. We had quite an eventful day yesterday. If we want to recap some of these matches, we had the team match. We had Team Duffin win versus Team Senna on that last time when they had a team battle. First doubles out of the gate went to Team Senna. Singles so far has been in the favorite of Team Duffin, but doubles have been in the favor of Team Senna, that's for sure. But that was yesterday. Today's a new day. We got 1 doubles, 3 singles, but starting the day off with this 5-on-5. And it looks like they're all commuting over to the table to get started for the day. Wonder if they're going to have the captain's lag here. All right, here comes the captain's battle. I don't know if they're going to lag as well. Let's see who is going to lag. We see tournament director Jason Frost over here, repping the green today. Good choice. All right. Senna's getting a little practice lag in here. All right. Jay has made his way to the table. Here we go. Kicking it off. Looks like Jay's got that lag. So Team Duffin's going to break here to start this 5-on-5 match. This is the order they're going to play per rack. So coming up first, we got Jay versus Rich. Evan and Frank are on deck. All right. And we are ready to get going here, folks. Let's kick things off with Rich Senna breaking. Rich making the 1 and 3 and the 5. He's got a pretty good look at that 2 ball. Definitely goes. He's got a lot of open space. You just got to be real cautious about that 7 ball, making sure you don't get behind it. That's a lovely start. Beautiful shot. Another beautiful shot there to be center of the table. Nice speed there. He's got that 7 ball on the side, nice and easy. Nice small bounce off the bank. He's in a pretty good position. That's a nice cut. Slow down, Kibo. Beautiful. Absolutely perfect. What a way to kick it off. Alright, now here comes Team Duffin to the table. Oh, actually, it's Team Senna's break. So Frank Constantino gets to break against Evan Moreau in rack number 2. That was a good break and run. Excellent run by Rich Senna there. That's why he's a team captain. Alright, here comes Frank. Let's see if he can do what Rich just showed us he can do. Good break. Looks like the one's going to be hidden now. It's going to make it pretty tough. Definitely a lot of traffic in the way there. He's got a few lanes to take. I think the easy hits to come through here and make the kick, but leaving the cue up there is probably the best option as well. Oh, that's going to be a ball in hand. No rail was struck. In comes Frank Constantino with ball in hand. Alright, makes that shot nice and easily. A little bit of stun. Now he's got some room to play here, going for the 4-ball next. Some good draw to it. Snapped it back. Plenty of room for that 4. Coming up the rail, he's going to be a little straight on it, but I don't think he hates it. That's a nice shot. Takes a nice touch to hit it with that much draw and then not overhit it. A lot of people putting on draw, they like to hit it real hard. He definitely did not even come close to doing that. Alright. He did try to get a little bit of a breakout there, but unfortunately kind of didn't leave himself the best leave on the 7, but looks like he's taking a nice confident bait, which doubles as a safety when you hit it like that. It was a pretty good speed. Beautiful touch by Evan there. Thin that 7 a perfect amount. Very nice play by Evan there. Racing the clock, he does get the shot off. Did leave it a little bit open for Evan here. shot right there. Pretty nice setup on that 8. Just needs to pull it back a tiny bit, and he's got that 9 ball nice and easy. Oh, and he decided to draw it a lot. Looking pretty good on that 9 ball either way. And that's going to tie up the race 1-1. As we now have Mark versus Scott, with Mark to break. All right, here comes rack number 3. Tied up 1-1 on this team race. All right, and Mark coming up to break. It's a pretty solid break there. Hopefully that 3 stays out of the way. I think he's just fine. It's all pretty open here. It's a pretty nice looking break. Let's see if he can really capitalize on that break. Nice little touch there. Now he's got the 2 nice and easy on the side. Can just follow it up. Anywhere in this general area would be good for that 3 ball. He does have to make sure he's looking at that 4 ball down table though. Nice gentle touch there from Mark. Looking a little straight on that 3 ball. He's definitely got a little bit of room to work with. Always love an extra angle to work with. Yes, Nick, they do play pool this early. That's a nice shot on the 3 ball there. Pull it back for that 4 is going to be tough. Let's see if he's going to bank it. Or play a nice save. I like that. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful speed. Beautiful speed. Brownie, yes, Cash Cow definitely starting off strong. Rich had a beautiful break and run. Oh no, cue ball's going in. Scott scratches there after the kick shot. Let's see now with Mark coming to the table if he can make something happen with his ball in hand. It's all looking pretty good. That 5 ball's not the greatest, just being on the rail, but for a player like Mark, shouldn't be a problem. He's just going to draw it back a little, pull it back middle of the table. Smack dab in the center, not bad at all. I think he's going to actually end up drawing this a little more than he needs to. Leave it over here for that 7. That's a nice shot there. Now he could either go all the way up or in the side. He's got the wiggle room. And he's got plenty of room to leave for that 9 ball as well. Great shot. That's textbook right there. What a beautiful shot. Alright, that's going to put Team Senna up 2-1 here. Team Duffin to break. Coming up on this next rack, we're going to have Frank Bestwick versus Steve Zomer. Now we're here on that 4th rack. We got the 4th players from each team. Frank Bestwick, Steve Zomer. Frank going to get the break on this one. Two to one. Team Senna really wants to win here. 3-1 sounds a lot better than 2-2. Here we go, Frank Bestwick with a nice solid break. And a look at the 1 ball, everybody's favorite thing to see after a break. That's a very nice touch there. Very nice touch. You can just fall a little bit to have that 3 ball next. Oh. Definitely made his job a little bit more difficult. Plays the safe there. It's a pretty nice shot. Even nothing but a bank or another defense as the option for Zomer. Alright, another good lead. Frank can definitely see the ball. But can he see the make? I don't believe so. Guess we're going to find out. Uses the extension as he changes his mind. Lining up behind the shot, he must have saw something he didn't like. Tries the shot. Couldn't quite tell if he could see the actual shot or not. I think he thinned it about as much as he could through that window. Alright, Steve Zomer starting off his run with a nice easy 3 ball. Let's see if he can sneak that 4 by the 7. He sure can. Nice little shot there. He's got that 6 ball, 7 ball. He's just got to get up table. He can get all the way up like he wanted, but I think he's alright there. Just make it nice and easy and leave for the 8. No reason to go all the way around the table if you don't have to. Oh, that 8 ball threatened to come back out. Definitely hard, but that 8-ball stays down. He's got a good look at the 9. And drains it. That's going to put Team Senna up 3-1. And they have the break. As Steve Nelson comes up to break. All right, coming up for rack number 5. We have Dawson versus Steve Nelson here. Dawson versus Steve. Steve Nelson with the break. Alright, Team Senna still looking to steal that early victory this morning. Here comes Steve kicking off rack number 5. Ooh, makes a ball, but then he ends up burying the 1 a little bit there, unfortunately. Tough shot at that 1. Let's see what his plan is here. Plays the hit. That's looking like a beautiful lead. Very, very nice shot. A lot of people might have pushed in that instance, but he was pretty confident in that kick shot, and now we know why. That was a beautiful play. Let's see what Dawson's able to do here. Looks like he's going to kick at it. That's definitely a good hit. Interesting position here. Is he going to make the 1 or is he going to carry off and try to make the 5? Looks like he opts to take the 5 first. Where's that 1 going to end up? Not a bad position. Drains in the side. Makes a nice leave on that too as well. I think he's just going to try and hit it soft and leave it in this area as well as he can. Oh, beautiful. He definitely did not want to get stuck behind that 4 ball, and he sure didn't. Oh, hits a little too much juice and it rattles. Sits right in the pocket for Dawson coming to the table. He's a lot happier with this sleeve than the last one he had when he came to the table. Hits it nice and easy, not as worried about the leave. He has the whole table to work with here. Looks like that 7 ball goes nice and clean, so don't got to worry about any kind of breakout or perfect position getting to it. Now on the 6 ball, let's see. You want to be on this side of the 7. So when he makes that, is he going to follow it 3 rails out? Or is he going to try and just draw it back? Looks like he's opting to follow it. Trying to come back. Came up a little bit short, but I think he's still got the angle. Looks like he's going to play the combination. He's going to call his extension, knowing he wants to take his time and look at that shot. He's going to call the 9 in the corner, playing that combination shot. Drains it. Beautiful shot by Dawson there. Going to bring it to 3-2. Senna's still in the lead. But now we're back to the top of the order here. Captain versus Captain. Duffin versus Senna. Jay Duffin gets the break on this one. A very nice out by Dawson there. Alright, since we've gone through the whole order here, we're going to start back at the top of the list. And we're going to go until we reach 5 for somebody here. Theoretically, Dawson and Steve will not play another match or another rack during this match. At most, we can play 9 racks. Alright, Jay with a big break here. Got a nice look at the 1 to start his run. Nice little shot on that 1 ball. Oh, hit that a little thick. Leaves that 2 ball in the pocket. As Rich Senna comes back to the table. Rich with a nice draw shot there. Even a very nice look at the 3. I like the angle he left on that 4 ball so that he can actually come back down table for that 5 ball next. That's a perfect stroke. Left a little bit of an angle, perfect, so he can actually get out of there. That's 7 ball. Not very far away. Beautiful shot. Just a couple left to clean up for Rich. Nice little extra English to keep that ball straight coming off the rail. Now for that 9 ball, since this is Rich, I can see him putting a lot of follow and left. And that's a nice shot. That's why I can see him doing that. A lot of people would have tried to come around, but if he can do what he just did, you do what he just did. Nice out by Rich there, putting them on the hill 4-2, and they get the break here as Frank Constantino comes up to break versus Evan Moreau. Evan looking to extend this match at least another rack. Gerardo, thank you for the compliment on the silky smooth voice. I like to save it just for moments like this. Alright, coming up on rack number 7 here, we got Frank ready to break. Wow, what a break by Frank. That beautiful teal cue. I got to hold that earlier. That's a Very well weighted cue. That one ball looking like a nice easy shot there. Whether you draw it, follow it, you got that 2 ball next. Hung a little bit there, making everybody skip a breath, but landed in it perfect for that 3. Or 2 to the 3. Just got to be careful with balls hanging in the pocket like this. A lot of times they can be hanging in that pocket deeper than they look. That's a nice shot, going right at it, hitting it full with draw, coming back out. All right, another super long draw there. Oh, that was a nice draw. Bringing it straight back across the table for that 6. Beautiful shot. Lining up, making sure you can get on that 8-ball nice and easy. Drills that 6-ball, no problem. Nice easy 8-ball shot, but where's he going to put the cue for the 9-ball? That's the real question here. Looks like he's going to follow it 2 rails. Oh, he's following it more 1 rail, 1.5 rails. I think he's still got that shot. Calls an extension to be safe so he can take his time. Calls it in the corner. Drills it, and that's going to end the match. Great out by Frank Constantino. Break and run to seal the victory for Team Senna, which brings the total score for the entire match 5-4 in favor of Team Duffin. Very nice out there by Frank. And as we can see here, coming up next, we got a doubles between Evan and Frank Bestwick. And they're going to be playing against Frank Constantino and Mark Tringali. It's going to be a very good matchup, folks. Don't go anywhere. Alright, folks, welcome back here. Coming into match number 10. Evan and Frank Bestwick versus Frank Constantino and Mark Tringali. It's going to be a great matchup, folks. Not only do we have 4 great shooters at the table, this is going to be a very big pivot match where either Team Senna could tie it up to make it 5-5, or Team Duffin could put themselves on the hill looking for that final win to win the entire weekend. We have Team Duffin and Team Senna playing here. Next weekend, we're going to have Team Baccio versus Team Lineham. And the winner of that will play the winner of this one in the following week. So by January 18th, we're going to crown the winner of the first Arena Cup. You should see the trophy, folks. It's about 3 feet tall. Beautifully done by Shane Awards here in Rhode Island. All right, teams are getting ready to play here. And we are back. That is true, Luke. Day 2, match number 10. Here we got Frank and Frank doing the lag. I bet Frank wins. And Frank wins the lag. Frank Constantino wins the lag, so him and Mark Tringali get to break. Looks like Frank's going to be breaking here. That beautiful teal breaker. Once again, we got tournament director Jason Frost here being our ref. Organized the whole event, being the ref, the racker, reeling in these guys between matches. He's got his work cut out for him, and he welcomes that challenge because we get to watch this kind of great pool. Coming up here, we got Frank ready to break. Monster break here from Frank. Wow. Made 3 on the break with a nice look at the 2 ball as well. I agree, Luke. Jason's done a great job organizing this event. Very nice cut by Mark. Setting his opponent up for success on that 4 ball. 2 real options here to pull it back for that 5 or to follow it for that 5 to 6 combination. Let's see where he goes here. Looks like they're going to be playing the combo. I don't mind the combo here, but at the angle they're at, you just got to make sure if the 5 goes up a little bit, so does the cue ball. You don't want to leave the cue ball against this rail. very nice touch by Mark. Very nice touch. Could make it nice and easy to make that 7 ball up in the corner. I wanted to be a little more on the rail, but that's okay. There's a little space between that 7 ball and the side pocket. Very nice shot. Making it look easy, folks. All right, Frank closing that out. That's going to make it 1-0 for Team Senna in this matchup here for doubles in match 10. Coming up to break now is Evan and Frank Bestwick. Looks like Evan's going to be breaking this one, rack number 2. All right, let's see how this table looks after our big break by Evan Moreau. Wow, another monster break. Made plenty of balls. He can see the object ball, and everything's pretty spread out here. Beautiful cut there. Oh, Evan opting to bring that cue ball around the table back for that 4. That does actually make a pretty nice cut shot where the cue ball always wants to leave nice for that 7. It's a very good shot. Alright, nice leave on that 7. He can just draw it here straight across table. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Very nice out. So we got a break and run from one team, followed by a break and run from the other team. These guys are here to play. I told you this is going to be a great matchup. 1-1. Frank and Mark coming back to break. Since Frank made the last shot for their team, it's going to be Mark to break. Let's see what Mark can do. Alright, Mark with another big break there. He can see the 2 ball, but it doesn't really go anywhere. I think we're going to see a first defense of this match. Frank lining up on that 2 ball. Think he might try to follow it, put that cue ball. Oh, that 5 wanted to go. Hey, Evan jumps to the table there. He's calling the 9 ball in the corner. He is going for it. Now looks like he's going to make that 5. Oh, and hopefully the cue ball is going to bounce. Not bounce enough. Left him right behind that 8 ball. And racing against the clock, he gets the shot off. Looks like he didn't leave the worst position for his opponent coming to the table. Mark needs to make sure he avoids that side pocket here, screaming. If he can just make it soft, I believe he's going to set himself up for success on that 3 ball next. Very nice shot. Good speed, good accuracy. Left a very straight shot here to make a nice easy draw for that 4. Oh, I like it. He follows it instead. All the way up table. Mapping out that 7. Making the 4 is easy. Setting up for that 7 ball, not so much. That 9 ball is your biggest enemy. It's a nice play coming up under that 9 ball. Beautiful shot on that 7. Slow down, cue ball. Slow down, cue ball. Perfect. Wow. Left it nice and easy shot. Pull it back a little bit, and you got a beautiful straight 9 ball. Drains that 8. Frank calling the 9 in the corner. And drains it. That's going to make it 2-1 for Frank and Mark here for Team Senna. They're up 2-1 over Evan and Frank, who are now coming up to break. Frank took the last shot, so Evan's going to break. Last time he broke, they had a break and run. Let's see if they can do it again. All right, Frost putting the finishing touch on this rack. And here comes Evan. Remember, no golden breaks here. Even if that 9 ball goes in, it's not the end of the rack. And Evan scratches on the break, making a couple balls in the process. Frank looking at that 4-3, definitely the biggest problem on the table. I guess the real question is, do you use this ball in hand with that 2 ball to break that out? Or do you try to get down there to play a defense with that 3? Doesn't quite look like you can see that 3 past the 4. The 4 is definitely in the way quite a bit. Let's see what the plan is here. All right, Looks like they're all going to come down on this side of the 3. I think that means we're going to see a defense. Frank lining up on that 3. Gives it a nice little nudge. Keeps that cue ball behind the 4. That's a very good shot. Frank Bestwick coming to the table. His last shot, he was stuck kicking at it. This time he's also kicking at it. Frank and Evan talking it out, making sure they got a good game plan here. All right, here comes Frank with his kick shot. Clips that A ball, which is now dead, but he also scratched, which means Mark is going to be coming to the table with ball in hand. Ball in hand for these guys is such a big deal here. They can make miracles happen being able to put that cue ball wherever they want. You got 4 balls left on the table, all pretty open and spread. Nice shot by Frank. I think that 7 goes from just about anywhere on the table, so Mark's just got to make this 5 ball. This is the only difficult shot left on the table. Gets the shot off as he races the clock. Lands it pretty much perfectly. Frank with a nice easy. Look at that. Can't set yourself up much better than that. Great shot. And Mark closes it out. That's going to put him up 3-1. And they get the break. So Frank gets the break since Mark just made the 9 ball. Puts him up 3-1 in this race to 5. Team Senna trying to mount a big comeback here as their team was down quite a bit yesterday. Today they are in a new form. They must have had a good team meeting this morning. They are looking to even the score here if they can pull off 2 more racks before Evan and Frank get things going. Here comes Frank to break. Rack number 5. Frank with a big power break. Wow, we got 4 balls hugging each other on the rail over here. That's going to make things interesting. I don't think it'll be too much trouble. If you can get up here to shoot that 3, I think you can, even in the middle of the table, you can make that 3, pull it backwards. You got the 4 all day long. Shot on the 1. Left a nice easy 2 ball there. Good opportunity to go 2 rails on that lead. Put that cue ball back in the middle of the table. Beautiful shot. He might be a little straighter on it than he would have liked. Oh, that's looking pretty great. Great shot by Mark. Setting it up there. I think they can just make that 4. Make that cue ball come off the rail just a little bit. And they are out of this rack. Nice shot. Not the easiest drawback here, but he's just going to put that cue ball back in the middle of the table. Oh, flirting with disaster there. But he wasn't punished. This is the toughest shot left on the table here for sure. Frank lining up. Oh, misses a shot a little bit there. Hit that cue ball, or hit that 6 ball a little too thin. That might be their first miss as a team there. They've been on it. Evan makes that 6. Light work of it. And Frank looking to set Evan up. Make this 9 ball and punish Mark and Frank. Oh, Frank punches a little too hard. Punched a little too hard. These diamond tables are very unforgiving for hitting the ball hard. Mark to the table. Let's see what he can do with this 7. Oh, makes the 7 with a great cut shot, but unfortunately scratched. Great shot, but no reward for it on this one. Evan's gonna make that 9 ball with ball in hand. And that's gonna make it 3-2. Evan and Frank steal that rack. They also get to break for this next rack, rack number 6. Mark and Frank still have the lead, 3-2 in this race to 5. Yeah, that's true, Luke. I mean, it's something we all experience, especially when we learn different ways to hit the ball. We end up hitting the ball really hard. But no table punishes you for hitting too hard like a diamond table. All right, here we go. Rack number 6. Frank Bestwick with a good looking break there. That 2 popped out last second, so they actually have a shot. All right, Evan coming to the table for the next shot. the ball a little too thick, a little too thin. Getting a little support for the cash cow team. That would be Team Senna, for those of you that do not know. Frank and Mark looking to steal this rack here. Well, let's see where this ends up. That's an interesting leave there. Though it may be tempting to try and make this cut, I think this is definitely a clear shot to play a defense. But a lot of it also depends on how you're shooting at the moment. That's a pretty good leave. I don't believe they can see by that 8-ball to go all the way up that rail. He could probably go up and over. Looks like Frank's encouraging him to go between the rail and that 8-ball. Yeah, here he goes. That's a beautiful shot. Not much room to play with there. 3-ball's certainly not pretty, but they do have control of the table at the moment. Frank looking to put that cue ball behind the 6. Unfortunately, it just pushed the 6 out of the way instead of getting behind it. That 3-ball's nice and open for Evan. Oh, pushes that 9-ball directly in the way. That certainly makes for an interesting shot here for Frank Bestwick. I think he's had to kick more than anyone else in this match here so far. Frank and Evan talking about it. Alright, racing against the clock here. Pretty good kick shot. Jump is allowed. Jump cues are definitely allowed for this event. We haven't seen too many so far, actually. Evan definitely made a good one yesterday. I think there might have only been about 1 or 2 attempts other than that one. Good shot on that 5. It's a nice shot to just hit it thin, let the cue ball do what it wants to do, come back out. Beautiful shot. Leave it nice and easy for that 7. I think he might be a little more off angle than he wanted. But that's okay. It's a pretty good shot there. All you're really going to do is make this 8-ball, and you're going to make that 9-ball. You're going to have a leave on it. Oh, beautiful shot. Cheated the pocket a little bit, but that's the name of the game. We got Mark here taking that 9-ball shot and this rack out. There's the out there. Great shot. Great finish by Frank and Mark there. They go up 4-2, and they get the break going here while they're on the hill. Frank has been having monstrous breaks, and he gets to come to the table to see if he can do it again. On the hill here, looking to tie up the overall score. Frank and Mark definitely seem to be on the same page here today. Shooting very well together. Okay, here comes Frank. Breaking for rack number 7. Another monstrous break and a look at the object ball. Makes the 4-5-6 on that break. Got a nice easy cut on that 1, which already wants to feed you into that 2. Might even be a good idea to nudge that 3 a little bit, but clean is definitely a good way to go there. Leaving that 3 super easy for the next opportunity. You just want to make sure the cue ball is on this side of that line of the table, and that 3 is child's play. Oh, Frank moving it even closer to the side pocket there. Hopefully he didn't put it on the rail. Looks like he could still have the angle on that 3 to just cut it right in. Oh, beautiful shot, Mark. Great shot there. That was hard to make the ball and put enough oomph on it to get that far down table. All right, let's see what Mark does. Try and get that cue ball back down table for the 9. Oh, beautiful roll down there. Leaving a great setup for Frank. Frank drilling that 9 ball to end the match. 5-2. Frank and Mark taking the victory, which brings the overall score to 5-5. Both teams need 2 more matches to win this overall. Wow. Great shooting right there. So that was Evan and Frank. Next, we're going to have a singles match. Jay versus Steve Nelson. Jay Duffin and Steve Nelson coming up next. And just a few more minutes before we start that match here. We'll be back in no time. back, folks. We got a nice singles match coming up here. All right. We got Jay Duffin versus Steve Nelson. And right now it is a tie 5-5 between the two teams overall. This is going to be the deciding match to put one of these two teams on the hill. We got Steve Nelson to break. Alternate break format. Alright, kicking off match number 11. Pretty solid break there. He's got a view of that one. I think he might end up pretty, not too bad there. Not too bad. I think he could possibly play that bank shot. Could also try and play a little bit of safe instead. I think he might do a little both, and it's going to be a safety here. That's a very nice safety. That speed control is key when you're looking at that kind of safety. Alright, we got Jay coming back to the table here. See what he can do with that one ball. I believe it goes by. It does not. That's a nice safety there. Tucked it right up on that 4-7. Steve jacking up the cues. Gonna put a lot of English on this ball. Couldn't quite get the good hit there. Was a great defense by Jay in his defense. In his defense, it was good defense. Jay stepping up. Hoping to put a good run together here. Wow. That one really did not want to go. The 4-ball's pretty tricky. Not so tricky anymore after he broke that out. What a great shot. You could bring this around table for that 6. A little too far around the table, but he's still got a good look at it. At least enough for a good defense. He's been doing good at defense. Oh, popped it out a little too far on that one. Certainly not an easy shot here. Very nice. Good touch. A little close to the rail to make it an easy draw here. He's going to go for it either way. It was a good shot. Bumping into that 9 didn't quite help as much as we'd like, but he does still have the shot. Calls the extension. Definitely want to take your time in moments like this. Oh wow. Locked him up. What a shot. Absolutely great touch there by Steve Nelson. Jay comes up a little bit short on that kick. Steve ready to finish this rack out after that great defense. It's a little hard, but he's still got the shot here. Makes that out. Very nice finish to that rack. And we're going to have Jay breaking for the second rack. He is down 1-0. It's a big match here. It's 5-5 for the overall score. All right, here comes Jay Duffin to break. Solid contact on that break. All right, just does look like he hit that one ball a little bit there. Not his full intention on that shot, but it definitely is a bonus. Left another tough shot. Jay Duffin taking this shot here. Goes for a bank. Defense. And left roughly the same shot that he just had to take. Very nice cut. Thin shot there. Oh, that was scary. Flirting with disaster, this guy. Oh, tries to get on the underside of that four. See, he could be playing the bank shot here. That 7 ball is kind of a... Oh, unfortunately he scratched there. Jay coming up with ball in hand. Waste no time in starting his run here. Nice little side pocket action on both sides of the table. And a nice easy cleanup for Jay here. Great finish. That's going to make it 1-1. And the break is going to go back to Steve for this one. Race to 4 for these two guys here. Both seem to be shooting pretty well. After this match, no matter what happens, we're going to have another singles match. It's going to be Dawson versus Steve Zomer. That's going to be another singles match. After this one of these two teams is going to be on the hill, so that could be a deciding match. And if it's not, then we have our final match, which is a singles match between Scott Cowan and Rich Senna. But here we go back to Steve and Jay. 1-1, Steve to break. Pretty good break there. Not an easy shot at the one, but he can see it. That's a nice touch, making it all the way up table. Wow, what a cut there on the 3 ball. Didn't have a lot of space for that, or a good angle. Looked like he's going for that shot. Get up there. Oh. Wow, what an attempt. Once again, Jay making light work of that 4 ball as he comes to the table. Oh, almost makes that 5. Left a long shot for Steve here. That 6 almost got locked up by the 9, but there's definitely still plenty of room. Uh-oh, get past that 8 ball. Looks like he's got the room. He's got the room to go by. Did not call the 9, so it gets spotted. Since he did make a ball, though, he does get to continue shooting. Makes that 6 ball, no problem there. Beautiful bank. That's 7. Nice way to cheat that pocket there. And it looks like making that 9 early might have helped him make the 9 on time. And Steve takes rack number 3 to make it 2-1. And Jay's break coming in here. Steve making that 9 ball early definitely helped set him up to finish that rack out. gives him the 2-1 lead here in the race to 5. Again, race to 5 and eyeball. Anything can happen. We got Jay coming up to break. Save it 2-ball. Oh. Might be a little bit behind that 2-ball, unfortunately. It's a tough incoming shot. Could opt for the push, but it looks like he's going to go right for the 1-ball. Oh, cutting it down. Does it have the legs? Oh, it does not. Just like Steve last track, running it right up the rail. Just not enough legs. Did not run fast enough. Steve coming up to the table with a nice easy 1 shot. Oh, might have pushed it a little too far there. Better than scratching on the side like he almost did. Goes for the bank shot there, but it comes up a little bit short. A little bit long, actually. Jay with a nice cut there. Also pushing that 3-ball out. Helped out a little bit. Good shot on that 3. Coming back to the other side of the table for the 4. Nice lead for that 6. Should be nice and easy to clean this up by now. Good speed, bringing that cue back middle. A little bit short, but I think he's still fine. Coming all the way up and down. And Jay finishes that rack out, making it 2-2. Tying it up, race to 3 now here for this match. And Steve Nelson with the break coming up here for rack number 5. Seems to be they don't have many opportunities. If they do miss, their opponent is definitely making it hurt. All right, Frost says the rack is ready to crack, so here comes Steve to the plate. Left another long shot at that one. Did make the 6-ball. Could opt to play a bank shot backwards here. A little backwards bank is kind of a built-in 2-way shot. Like so. Very nice. That 4-ball definitely getting in the way here. Kayla Frost has been showing that off all weekend. He's very proud of it. The jump shot by Jay goes a little bit long. We're going to have a ball in hand for Steve. That answers your question from earlier, Luke. Jumping clearly is allowed. I believe that's actually the first foul we've had on a jump shot so far, though. All right, pretty good draw there by Steve. too much oomph on it there. Luckily, that 4-ball stayed in its way, making it not the easiest shot for Jay as he steps to the table. Makes the combo, makes it look easy anyway. Beautiful lead. Looks like he's going to be playing that 9-ball combination. Oh, that cue ball needs to stay up, stay up. Wow. Very nice shot there by Jay Duffin to make that 9-ball in the corner. That brings it to 3-2. Jay not only wins that rack, he gets to break. Anthony coming in with some action again. His predictions have been pretty good so far. Let's get another front row seat to Mr. Frost here. Thank you again for putting on a great event. Still got a couple more weekends to go here, but that's a little too far ahead. Let's go back now here to Jay, about to break 3-2. All right, makes a few of those drop. Does have a look at the 2-ball. Wow, great shot there. Didn't have much to go on, still made it happen. Not very thrilled about his leave on the 4, but he just showed that he can still get out of a tough spot. Oh, rattles that 4-ball. Is it going to sit behind the 8? It did not make it there. Steve coming to the table here. Certainly not a duck on that 4-ball. Still a tight cut. Slow down, cue ball. Went all the way back up table. Certainly not what he expected. A lot of times when there's a shot like that, it's easy to run a little bit too long. Wow, goes for the nice long bank shot. Unfortunately leaves it one diamond in front of the pocket. Jay with a nice shot on the 5 and a nice friendly bounce on that 6 as he hits it. Now the 6 is certainly makeable, but this does make that 7 a little bit trickier. Oh, decides to play this safe and hit a little too hard. That 6-ball coming all the way back up middle of the table. Suddenly that 7 is not as bad as it was one shot ago. Still going to be tricky here, especially shooting over that 8-ball. Wow, went all the way around table to scratch. That one's going to hurt. Jay excited to get to the table here. Nice easy shot on that 7, coming back for the 8. Think he might pull a little bit of draw on this. Try and scoot that 8-ball out to the dead center of the table. Oh, he went a little long. Oh, hits that front nipple there. Here comes Steve. Hoping to steal this 9-ball back. Long straight shot. Made the ball, but called the wrong. Was not the pocket he called. I believe he loses his turn. Duffin makes the 9 there, making it 4-2. And Steve Nelson coming in to break. All right, here we go. Rack number 7 here in match number 11. Jay Duffin on the hill, 4-2. Steve Nelson to break. Whole lot of English on that cue ball as it's spun around. Looks like he's got yet another long shot on that one ball. It seems to be the story of breaks in the second half of this match here. Wow, nice cut there. Cue ball's going to run a little wild. He can at least see the 2 ball. We got an attempt at defense by Steve, but he cut it a little bit too thin and ended up missing the 2 altogether. Here comes Jay looking to put a run together and end this match once and for all, starting with that 2. Three ball, very nice shot. Came back out. Nice lead for that 5 ball. Now he can do whatever he wants to get on that 6. It looks like it does go right by that 9. So he's probably going to hit it nice and soft. Keep it around this side of the table. Hit it a little bit too hard, but he's still in good shape. Wow, beautiful draw shot. Arguably even too far. Takes that tough cut down the rail. The 8 ball hangs for a second and drops, leaving a nice shot on the 9 for Duffin. Finishes the rack, finishes the match, 5-2. That's going to bring the total team score to 6-5. Team Duffin is on the hill. Coming up next, we're going to have Dawson playing against Steve Zomer. It's going to be a singles match. And I'm going to leave you guys to watch them for another minute or two while we get ready for match number 12 with Team Duffin on the hill. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have quite the singles match ahead of us here. This is going to be match number 12 for the event. And right now, Team Duffin is on the hill. If Dawson wins this match, it is over. If he does not, and Steve wins, then we go to our final match, which would be Scott Cowan and Rich Senna. Alright, Dawson and Steve ready to lag here. This race to 5, 9-ball, alternate break. Like looking at the difference in that keelwood shaft that Dawson is sporting here. That looks like Dawson's going to get to break. Jason taking out the freshly washed set of pool balls here. He's been wiping them clean between racks. When we have a little bit of an extra time break, he likes to make sure that they are thoroughly cleaned. Very, very nice equipment we're using for this event here. Alright, and we are off. Here comes Dawson to break. I was just chatting a little bit with one of the players on Team Senna. They were talking all morning during their team meeting about how they don't need to break hard. Control is where you want it to break, especially with equipment like this. You don't need to be hitting that hard. You want to be able to shoot at the next ball and make sure you do not scratch. So Dawson with a pretty decent break here. He's got to look at the 2. He's going to play a defense, tucking that cue ball up there. Wow, what a shot. That was rough. Let's see what Steve can do here. He's got quite a kick on his hands. It's a good attempt there. If that 4 wasn't in the way, it could have gone. We don't know. And we'll never know. Dawson taking his ball in hand. That 7, 8, 9 down here in the corner is going to be pretty tricky for whoever gets to it. Dawson playing another brutal defense. Locked up on that 5. Steve coming right up, trying to kick, not getting it. Dawson with ball in hand again. Let's see what he's got. That puts Steve on 2 fouls. In theory, too, you could put the cue ball over here and just kind of thin the 2 to bring the cue here and the 2 locked up. Oh, hopefully he did not open up that 9 ball there. I didn't hear it call it. Steve's going to play a D-Ray back now. It's a nice shot. Dawson now having to kick himself after making Steve kick the last few shots. That's a good shot by Dawson there. Good kick, breaking out that 7, 8, 9. That was always kind of a problem anyway. Wow, I think think Steve might have hooked that cue ball. Yeah, looks like Dawson's hooked on that corner pocket. Does not have an easy shot on it. Dawson calling his extension here. All right, Steve coming to the table. All right, Steve calling his extension now. After Dawson's attempt at a mass ace shot. Steve starting his run here with easy 2 to the 3. Now 4 looks like it's going to have to be a combo, but he knows that speed control. Oh, hits it a little hard. Don't know if he can see the cut, but he's going to try it. I think he played a two-way there. Either he made it, cool, or did not make it, cool. Dawson now with a long bank attempt. Dawson in a race against the clock now. Oh, tries to slice it thin. Slices it a little too thin. Alright, here we go with Steve coming up with ball in hand. Looks like he's got enough room for that 7 ball. Certainly did. Pushing that 8 out at the same time. That's a good play. Got to shoot over the 9 ball here a little bit, but still a good shot. Just that easy 9 ball. All right, Steve takes the first rack, 1-0, and he gets the break as Frost gets back to his favorite job of racking. Welcome everybody joining us here in the final couple matches here, the Arena Cup, weekend number 1. Team Senna has mounted quite the comeback, brought it to 5-5. Now Team Duffin is on the hill, hoping that Dawson can close things out. Steve stole the first rack after some defensive battles going on. Now gets to break while being up 1-0. Strong break, making a few balls, but that 1 ball looks like it is completely buried behind the 4-5. Oh, good kick shot. Leaving Dawson with a nice long 1 ball. Certainly not a clean shot. Dawson playing a nice sweet touch of a defense. That's a pretty good touch. Speed was there. Oh, looks like he opened it up. I believe Dawson does have a shot at that one ball. That two ball's not pretty though. You could always use this five ball to kind of stop the cue ball from rolling too far away. Like so. Great shot. It's a good shot. Now he's got some room with that two ball. He's got to put a lot of English on this to get it up table for that three. Very nice touch there too. He's going to be hoping to avoid that six ball as he starts trying to come back down table for that four. If he puts draw on it, he could very well hit the six and it's not going to go where he wants. He does hit the six and the cue ball does go where he wants. Very nice shot. Tight cut down the rail here. A little bit of left. Bring it right up table for that five ball. Oh, it gives a little too much juice. Ball stays on the table though. Just left for quite the difficult five ball shot here. Though he can see the ball, I think he's going to have to play a D. We're going to lock that five up with the six. Does not happen, so Steve's coming to the table with a long open five ball. Zomer with the clean shot on that five. Pulls it out beautifully for that six. I think he's just going to follow this a little bit. Bring the cue ball back up. Very nice. A little bit of pull back. Draw straight back for that nine. Speed control is a big one here. Probably rather go too short than too long. Oh, he misses the eight. Well, trying to make sure his leave was good on the nine. We've all been there. Dawson coming up. That eight ball's a nice tight cut. Not very easy. Dawson's going to use his extension. Take his time. Make sure he's looking at that shot correctly. There's a big eight ball shot there. That could be the rack. Hits the ball just a little bit too thick. I believe he's leaving Steve a makeable shot here. Dances with the sides of that pocket. Leaves himself a pretty tricky nine ball, actually. He's going to cut it to that lower left pocket. And he's going to hang the nine ball in the pocket. That is painful. Dawson stepping up. He's still going to make the ball. It's not over. I've seen good players and great players miss those easy nines, but Dawson did not. He evens it up 1-1 and gets the break for this next rack. This is match number 12 here, as we can see. If Dawson could win this match and win the entire event for him and his team, or Steve could win and put it to match 13 for the final singles of the event for this weekend. Winner of this match plays the winner of next weekend between Team Baccio and Team Lynham. They will be squaring off next weekend in the same format. The two winning teams will play in the following weekend to decide who wins the cup. And let me tell you, that cup is gorgeous. It's a good 3 feet tall. I've heard a few people say they can't wait to drink champagne out of it, so make sure you come on down for that weekend if you can't make any others, the 17th and 18th. Here we have Dawson to break for rack number 3. My cue ball was hopping all over the place. Stayed on the table though. He does have a look at the 2 ball. Not a great one, but he's got a look. Circling the shot, trying to figure out his best course of action. I believe he's going to try and leave some kind of dirty defense. And that's a pretty good, well placed 2 ball there. Looks like Steve does have a path to cut right through. And he sure does. That brings the cue ball all the way back up table. Returns the favor for Dawson here. And then some. Dawson looks jammed behind that 4 ball. Even if he could see that too, which he cannot. Looks like he's calling the 9 ball here. Going up and over. And missed the 2 ball, unfortunately. Steve coming to the table with ball in hand. Playing another defense. Hoping to lock Dawson up with that 3 foul rule. As Dawson looked like he tried to do to Steve earlier. Dawson's a tough one to get that off on though. He's a good player. Pretty well rounded. Let's see if he can break out some kicks here. Oh, just missed that 2 ball. Steve stepping up with ball in hand, number 2. He is going for that 3rd foul. Dawson lining up his kick shot here at that 2. Really needs his hit. Makes the hit. And we are back to a regular game here now that that defense battle is over. See if Zomber plays safe again. Looks like he attempted to. That 7 did hit the rim, so it is a good shot. Legal hit. See what Dawson plans to do with this 2 ball. Not a pretty shot. Goes for the bank and sends the 2 ball all the way around the table. Looks like Steve is able to reach this. Plays a quick defense. I think Dawson may be able to see that 2 ball. Defense might have been a little rushed. It's definitely an awkward lean over the table, but a lot of people are afraid to use the bridge. Not saying that's what happened, but think the bridge would have helped a little there. Dawson jumping up and over. Locks the 2-ball up. There's another successful jump shot for you, Luke. Steve not afraid to play another defense. That is a very good save. Good speed control there. Dawson kicks at the 2, makes the 6, and now needs to kick again. It was a great shot. Unfortunately, no love on that leave. The pool gods sometimes just don't have that love for you. It's a good kick. Sending the 2-ball down table. Leaves Steve a pretty open 2-ball. Nice touch, leaving it for the 3. Probably going to follow this a couple rails to come back out. Maybe not quite. Steve trying to shot with that 4-ball right up on the cue ball. Fortunately left it for Dawson up table. Dawson hits the ball a little bit too full there. I don't know if he was focused too much on the lead for the next shot. Leaving Steve a pretty good setup here. Drops the first one, no problem. Might have come up a little shorter than he'd liked, but it's definitely still doable here. A little bit of stunner draw, bring it back up table for that 8. Steve making that at 7, 8, and leaving a very nice shot on the 9. And drops that 9 to make it 2-1. Steve is up and gets the break. It's a race to 5 here. Rack number 4, Steve gets the break. All right, here comes Steve, ready to break. Rack number 3 has Frost puts the finishing touches on this rack. Huge next couple of racks coming up here. That 9-ball stayed up. That is interesting. There are no golden breaks in this format, but an early 9 could definitely happen when it stays in the corner the way it did there. Good shot by Steve. Start this rack off, coming all the way back up table. Very nice. Coming back up for that 3 very nicely. Shoots that 3 in with authority, looking to get back for that 4-ball. Not quite there. Calls the 9, drops the 9. Steve takes the lead 3-1. Now it is Dawson's break here in rack 5, Luke. Rack 5 here. Going up 3-1. Looking for those last 2 racks. Try and push it to match number 13. Dawson not going to roll over for that, though. Dawson coming up ready to break here. See what he can make happen. Starting off rack number 5, Luke. Oh, the cue ball gets pushed into the side pocket. That's unfortunate. Everything's not spread out incredibly, but definitely spread out enough. Steve opted to play the early safe. Looks like he did get that 1 ball behind enough. Dawson looking at a 2-rail kick. Certainly does. Leaving an interesting shot here for Zomer. Calling the 1 ball on the side. The 9 ball on the side, sorry. Drains it. Oh my goodness. What a shot by Steve. That's going to bring it to 4-1, and he gets the break. Coming into rack 6, Steve gets the break. If he can make something quick happen like that again, then we may be going to the last match. But it is not over yet. All right, starting us off here on the final rack of this match. Not the final rack, on rack number 6. Steve looking to close it out. That's a good break. Will he have a look at the 1 ball? It does not look like he can see it. Looks like he may have a line right there through all that. Let's see what he does here. Even if he could over that 7, makes it pretty tricky. Looks like he might be going right at it. He's going to push. Give Dawson the 1 ball because he knows that 2 ball is in a awkward position. Well, Dawson looks like he might have gotten just enough. At least he could see it off the rail. He's going to kick at it. Leave a tough shot now. Banks that 2 directly in the corner pocket. What a shot. Looked like it could have been a defense, but it was still a great shot. Definitely a defense on that. That cue ball's going to sit right up on the floor. Wow, what a shot. Dawson's going to come up and have to kick again. Hit it directly. Is that cue ball going to get behind the 8? Wow. Very good leave there. Leaving it pretty open here for Dawson. Dawson said, I've had enough kicking. I want to actually shoot. Here he comes up with a nice looking table for him. Nice touch there. Make it nice and easy for that. Stay middle of the table with the cue ball. Hit a little too hard there. Definitely a makeable cut. Makes that 7 with authority, sends it all around the table. Now going to take that 8 to go up table all the way in the corner. Sticks it. Leaves an interesting shot here for Steve. Looks like it might require a bit of a bank. I don't believe that's a cut shot for most people there. Steve may be looking to play this a little bit defensively if he can. And says, nope, I'm going to bank it right in and take this match to be mine. And he certainly does. So Steve wins 5-1. Ties up the overall score 6-6. That means the winner of the next match wins the entire thing. No pressure on these players at all. 15 minutes. The tournament director, 15 minutes. And we got the finals. We'll see you in a few minutes, folks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for our final match of the weekend. Match number 13. It is Hill for both teams. And we have Rich and Scott about to face off, see which team advances to the championship. All right, Rich and Scott both set up and ready to go here. Looks like Rich gets to break. Frost making sure that table is ready to go. Top notch for this final battle. Team captain Rich Senna is taking on Scott Cowan. Scott's been shooting well this weekend. Looking pretty good in warm-ups as well. Let's see what he's got. I'm seeing some people rooting for the cash cow over here. Room's got a few more spectators now as well. Better late than never. You're catching one heck of a match if you're just tuning in now. Here comes Rich to break. Pretty good spread on that break. Not exactly a easy shot on this one ball, but you could cut it. You could play a defense. You could bank it. See what Rich wants to do with that. Playing a defense, it looks like. Putting it right up on the 7. That's what I'd expect from Rich. Very good shot there. Good speed control. Scott racing the clock a little bit here. Decides not to use his extension, and unfortunately has a bad hit, making it ball in hand for Rich. Nice speed control on that one ball shot. Make that 2 nice and easy, and that 3. Coming back middle of the table for that 5. Looks like that 5 does go by that 7 ball up in that corner pocket eventually when he gets there. Rich is a very methodical player. If he's playing for hours or minutes, takes the same amount of time to look at the shot. He's got his routine. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Wow, decides to go all the way up table with it. Leaving a pretty good shot, actually, on that 5 ball down in the corner now. It's not straightforward, but I believe Rich has got this. Looks like he's cutting it in the side instead. A nice touch there as he goes around that 6 ball, ready to shoot it down in that pocket corner. Stuns it, keeps the cue ball exactly where that 6 was. Leaves a very nice 8 ball shot on the side here. A great shot there by Rich. And Rich is going to go up 1-0 in this race to 5 here. And now we have Scott coming up to break for rack number 2. Scott coming up to break here, rack number 2 in this race to 5, the final race to 5, as the team score is 6-6 in a race to 7. We got some more cheers for the cash cow. That would be Team Senna for those who do not know. Oh, Scott with a strong break, but unfortunately the cue ball does not give him a break. It's looking pretty spread out here. Rich with ball in hand. That 4 ball might be the hardest one on the table, but even that's not too difficult. They're not very spread out from each other, though they are spread out in general. Let's see where he's going to put this cue ball for the 2 ball. Very nice speed to make that 2 ball down in the corner. Stops it just in time, looks like. He's got that 3 ball. Very nice shot, a nice little touch. Did not help him out as much as it could have. As I said, that 4 is probably the hardest ball. Definitely the case now where it lies with that cue ball. Decides to try for that 9. Leaves it a little bit tied up there. Certainly not an easy shot for Scott coming to the table. Very nice cut by Scott there. Had a good leave on that 5 next. Nice touch, leading him up to that 6 ball. Nice shot again for that 8 on the side. Looks like he does have a good enough angle on that 8. It does naturally want to come around the table to be on this side of the 9. Extension called by Scott. He wants to take his time. Leaving a pretty nice shot in that same pocket there for Scott. And Scott's going to finish that rack to make it 1-1. The crowd goes wild as he finishes that rack and ties it 1 apiece. All right, Rich coming up to break for rack number 3. Rack 3 here. And a race to 5, 1-1. Rich looking to put another one on the board for his team. He's the captain. He's going to show his stuff, prove why he's captain. A challenge I'm sure he welcomes. Makes a couple balls, really spreads out the table. Though that 2 doesn't go clean, it does make for a pretty easy combo shot into that 3. Because of the angle on it, though, that 2 is always going to hit the 3 and come this way, which doesn't make for an easy shot after the combo. Rich holds pretty well, looking for that 2 ball next. This is actually a pretty good angle there because, as I said, if that 2 ball comes this way, this cue ball is naturally going to want to come out this way. So he does have the opportunity to make the combo with good luck on the 2 afterwards. Oh, he puts the cue where it needs to go, but the 2 ball decided to not put the 3 in and instead leaves a nasty shot for Scott. He's going to have to kick at this. Oh, I think he's going to get a nice roll there where it's going to go up behind the 6. Making sure that Rich also has to kick. Rich successfully kicks at the 2 ball but does not make it. Leaves Scott with a shot on this 2 ball. It is tempting to try that tight cut. Or even the bank shot. Oh my goodness, that 2 ball stayed up. Well, that makes for an interesting shot here for Rich. Does not look like he can see it through the side over here on the 3. The only way out is to come this way, which he can't really kick at it because of this 6 ball. It's quite a shot here. Looks like he may try and hit this with a lot of English to straighten it out. Did not take enough. Given ball in hand to Scott. All right, here comes Scott to the table. Looking to finish off this 2-ball that he set up his last shot. Now he's got a similar bank shot he needs for that 3. Could also play a safe or even attempt to bank it this way, which is a 2-way shot, so he could have a safe if he does miss. Looks like he may be playing a different kind of safety here. Oh, he changed his mind. Oh, almost went right in. Unfortunately, though, it did kind of pop out in the open. Not a very friendly lead for Scott. Definitely for Rich. He's taking this shot. Does make the 3, but does leave himself tough for that 5. It is a little bit off the rail. Oh man, Rich takes a risky shot. Almost drains it. All the way around the table. But now Scott comes to the table with the duck. 5 buried in that pocket. Studs it. Leaving for a long shot on the 6. All he has to do is make the 6, and he's got a decent leave on the 8. That's a good shot. Nice steady. Scott hitting that 8-ball a little too hard, but gets pretty fortunate in his league on that 8-ball. I think Rich still was going to have to kick at it. Rich is going to use his extension. It's a good call. This is definitely a shot you don't want to rush. You can feel the tension in the room on this final match here. Oh, Rich tries the beautiful bank attempt. Does send the 8-ball a little bit farther away, which probably helps, but I think that's still makeable for Scott here. Oh, and he's going to hang it in the pocket. That hurts. Rich is going to come up with that 8-ball waiting for him. All he's going to do is make that for a shot on the 9. Again, that ball's deep in the pocket, though. You got to be careful. That's a good, smart shot. Playing a little bit of the rail at the same time as the object ball. Popping out beautifully for this 9. And that's going to put Rich in the lead, 2-1. Scott's going to be coming up to break, looking to make up for that last 8-ball shot. Still plenty of pool left in this match here. The pressure is on for both players here. do one final shout out of the weekend to Mr. Frost here, our in-house racker, is ref and tournament organizer. We'll be seeing a lot of him over the next 2 weekends after this. Back at the task at hand, we got Scott about to break in rack number 4. Put some good heat on it. Looks like the 1 is going to drop. That 2 ball, it's tough to tell if he can actually see through it. Looks like he may have a gap just big enough through there. We got some more call outs for the cash cow, Rich Senna. Oh, Scott making a very good attempt off that 8 ball. Can't quite get it to drop. Rich could probably see it off of this rail. It's a good shot. I think he was hoping to kind of leave it a little bit more in this area to do a 3-9 combo. End this rack real quick. I don't know if it's worth trying it at it now. Definitely got a lot more difficult now. And we had the first shot clock foul of the tournament. Rich had an extension he could have used. There we got Scott coming to the table here. The ball in hand, looking to really make that 4 ball easy. He definitely got up there pretty good. Excellent cut down the rail there. Avoided shooting over that 7 by inches. Centimeters. Making the 5 isn't the problem here. He's concerned about leaving for the 6. You gotta make sure you make the 5 though. Oh my goodness, off the 9 and into the side pocket. Rich Senna to the table with ball in hand. Rich pocketing that 6, looking to finish this rack out pretty easily. Just going to put a little bit of follow top right on this, come back up for the 9. Excellent shot by Rich. Push that 9 all the way up into the corner. And looks like we're going to be having Rich Senna break after winning that rack and making it 3-1 in a race to 5. Rich only needing 2 more racks here. And with the break, he's no stranger to a break and run here. That would definitely put him in a good position. Either way, he wants to make sure he takes this rack. 4-1 sounds a lot better than 3-2. Scott also not shooting bad at all. He's had a few unlucky rolls. So do not count him out just yet. All right, Rich Senna coming up to break for rack number 5. Let's see if he can make it happen. Wow, solid break. That cue ball threatening like it was going to drop. Decided to hang on to see how the rest of this rack plays out. He may be in the pocket, but he does have a clean shot. Nice. Nice speed there, bringing it around for that 2-ball next. That 4-ball is the real question. Is there enough room here to make that an easy cut down the side? Looks like he isn't going to find out. He's instead going to put it down in the other corner. A little bit of stunner draw here will set him up good on that 7 as well. Very nice shot from Rich. He may have this out. I'm going to guess a little top right that he does here. Oh, not quite. He's not going to get back up as far as he wanted to. He wanted to be a little more up in this area, but there's still a lot that can happen on this shot. Wow, what a safe play by Rich Senna. Scott Cowan coming off the table. I don't know. Does not look like he can see it straight past that 9. Oh, looks like he may be grabbing the jump. The cue ball comes off the table, leaving Rich with a ball in hand for the final 2 balls on the table. Got a little bit too much pop on that jump. Rich gonna play it nice and easy here. Just a little tap and then a tap again. And that could put him on the hill. Rich, such a solid player. Mr. Calm Cool Collected, Mr. Cash Cow. He's going to drop that 9 to bring it to 4-1 in his favor. And Scott gets to break on rack number 6. Rich on the hill with match point. Four to 1 in a race to 5. It is tough to be on the one side in this instance. I've seen crazier things happen though. Again, Scott is not shooting bad. Here comes Scott with the break. Rack number 6. A rare dry break. Letting Rich come to the table with a shot at the 1. Nice shot on that 1 to set up for the 2. That 3 ball does not go by the 7, but if you're somewhere in this general area, you could cut it down in that corner. Looks like he may just want to take the combo. He could also play a safe. Oh, misses the combo shot. Scott gets to come to the table looking at not exactly a clean 3 ball. He could opt to go for the 9 in the corner here. He doesn't call it. Goes for the defense. Unfortunately, did not hide behind the 7 like he planned it. It looks like that 3 is clean to go on the side as well. Let's see how Rich plays this. Very nice shot. Looks like that 4 goes clean by that 6 as well. Not quite sure if that 5 goes by that 7 here, though. Let's see how he plays this 4. Try and get to the 5 ball next. He's going to play it nice and easy. I think he's going to try and play the bank shot here for the 5 because the cue ball is going to want to be over here for the 6. Natural leave. It's not going to go. Scott comes to the table. Cannot quite see that 5 ball. Not to make it, at least. That's a very tough shot. He got the hit. Not a very makeable shot. This, on the other hand, very makeable. Rich with a good shot on the 5, coming on back up for the 6. He's just got to pull it back out in the middle of the table with a little bit of draw. Comes out beautifully for that 7. You could hear a pin drop in this place, folks. Dead silent as everybody watches. Gets just past that side pocket. Definitely a scary moment when that cue ball is traveling down that path. Rich with a beautiful leave. All right, folks, that's going to do it. Team Senna is victorious against Team Duffin. Team Senna, Rich, Frank, Mark, Steve, and Russ are going to be coming back in 2 weeks to play the winner of next week's event. Same format, 2 brand new teams. Let's see how those 2 fare off, because whoever wins that is going to have to come up to Team Senna here, who show that they do not back down when the back is against the wall. They shot great. Both teams shot great. This was a great event. Thank you, Mr. Frost, for putting it on. All of you like, share, subscribe so you can watch next week as